Tonight, you are going to be driving through our museum village and hearing stories of hauntings here. The stories I'll be telling you are based on oral histories that were collected from staff, visitors, and volunteers over the years, and from paranormal investigations that were conducted on site. Most of the stories you will hear have been verified by more than one person. There will be 7 stops, and each stop will be marked with a lit sign. The signs you will see at each stop are authentic historic photographs taken over 100 years ago. In the 19th century, many people would take photographs of their loved ones once they had passed to keep a memory of them. And in some other cases, people would take photographs only to have them developed with a ghostly shadow looming in the background, or some telltale sign that a person in the photograph might soon come to an unfortunate end. Tonight, you will see images of people from the past. These are representations of people at this time and do not necessarily reflect the people these stories are about. When you are asked to move forward to the next stop, please drive forward slowly and with caution to your next audio point. The spirits have been talking. They are excited about your arrival. There are many reasons why spirits remain in our world. Some believe that these spirits have unfinished business. Some believe the spirits are confused and do not know that they have passed. And others believe the spirits are afraid of what is to come next and refuse to pass over. The homes you are about to see were lived in by real people over 150 years ago and are filled with objects that were used by people living before us. Spirits can attach themselves to the homes, but sometimes they attach themselves to objects. It is easy to understand how so many spirits could remain at our museum. Please move forward to the first stop at the bottom of the meadow.
So here's something a little different, guys. Today we're going to be bringing you a haunted ghost drive-through tour. As you just heard the beginning, we're going to go through. This is going to be completely one shot. And we're just going to see how this plays out.
We're supposed to stop here, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
As we begin our journey into the village, take a look beyond the meadow at the woods.
Okay.
Over 200 years ago, men, women, and their families came to Canada for a new start.
Wow.
Many of these early settlers were living in inhospitable conditions, having fought on the losing side of the American Revolutionary War.
I can't see anything.
Arriving in the town of York, these newcomers traveled for weeks through forest and backcountry in search of their lot of land. Their travels were tough, with roads yet to be developed, paths unclear, and unseen dangers all around them. Many travelers never made it to their land, getting lost or worse along the way. Imagine trekking into the forest to hunt a deer for dinner and returning to your campsite to find everyone missing. Being all alone, trying to find your way in a vast expanse of forest and brush. Once the settlers found their land, it did not mean they were safe from harm. Weather and food shortages were just some of the factors they faced. Children who left their houses in the morning to complete their daily chores failed to return home, vanishing among these woods. Villagers were taken by wild animals while out clearing their land. In these forests, you may meet the spirits of lost travelers and children who still wander through these woods, hoping to make it to their lot or back to their families. If you listen close enough, you can even hear voices calling out on the wind. There is a rumor about a man who still wanders these very woods you see before you. John Duffin was a member of a well-established family in Pickering Township. In fact, this creek running alongside the meadow was named after the Duffin family.
I can't see anything.
In the early 1900s, John
Why did
opened
they
up
make
a
this at
general
night?
store
Like, you
in
can't
town.
see anything.
Villagers would come
spookier.
to his shop and often socialize with their neighbors.
I think you might have to move
John's
up to
general
these little
store was
poles
the
here,
place to be, and he was well known in town.
so you can see a
He had
little
Well,
become
the
bit.
car
quite
park's
a
behind
known
us.
person around town. One day, John failed to show up at the shop. On the second day that John failed to come to work, villagers grew worried and went to his house, which was found unlocked and a mess. After searching his house, villagers then searched his property, then the creek, and could not find a trace of John Duffin. Speculation began about what could have happened to John. Some believed that he was taken by a bear and dragged into these woods. Others thought that he was murdered. The disarray of his house pointed to a struggle. No matter which story it is, villagers suspected that John Duffin was dead
I'm assuming
somewhere
that's
in
him.
these
I
woods.
guess so.
Oh, dude.
Please move forward to your next stop that will be on your right, around the bend, and through the forest.
So let's go at a crawl, so I got a little slower than that, I think. Okay, I guess not. I thought these indicated like the stopping point or something, but I guess not. That's pretty cool.
The Broome Temperance House is the yellow building straight ahead of you. It is considered to be our most active building on site for paranormal experiences. It is where most of the reported sightings and unnerving occurrences have taken place for staff and volunteers. Back in the 1800s, this building was a bustling hotel. Located in Broome, this hotel was one of 3 in the village that accommodated travelers who came into the village on the stagecoach. The building is made up of 2 sides, the public hotel side, to your left, and a private residence
Yo,
on
there's
the
lights
right.
on in that house up there.
In the 1850s, this hotel belonged to Elizabeth and James Woodruff, but many people and spirits have lived in it since. Inside the hotel, there is a staircase that connects the hotel's tap
Can we
room
go in the
with the
hotel?
upper floor flop room where hotel guests
Yo, we're coming back
slept.
to do this once this whole COVID's
One
over.
strange
We're going to
occurrence that
nostalgia.
has been reported is that our museum guests have said that when they get up to the top of the stairs, it feels as if a heavy weight
I thought
is
that's the
being
Caillou's
placed on
house.
their chest, as if someone is
Yo,
pushing
you know what
them
they should do?
backwards
A
down
ghost
the
tour
stairs.
of 500 Bath Road.
Oh my gosh.
What
That's
is pushing
The
them
ghost of
is
Binky.
up for debate.
Sometimes,
The museum
if
had
you
a
have
team
weight
of
on you, Binky
paranormal
will bang on your
investigators
car.
on site a few years ago. They conducted a scan of this building and believed that their imaging showed a woman who was pushing people back down the stairs. At the time of the investigation, only the men in their group had felt like they were being pushed and
Yo,
touched.
there's lights on in that house there.
One
That
staff
you
Yeah, I
see
member,
noticed
candles
that,
Rebecca,
in that house on the
who
left.
worked at the museum around the time of
Oh,
the
that's creepy.
investigation, saw a woman in a green dress from the 1800s at the top of these stairs.
And look, the
Oh my
curtains.
gosh. Yo,
While the
you see
spirit
that?
Yeah, the
is still
curtains
a
are
mystery
moving.
to us, let me take you back to the 1850s to consider
Is someone
who
high beaming?
it might be.
That's Daniel's phone.
In 1850, Broome Temperance Hotel was a lively
Yo,
place,
I'll put your
full
phone
of
back out
young,
there. I just
strapping
thought I saw
lads
something.
coming to Pickering
I
to
thought I
make
saw
their
somebody standing by the
fortune.
side of that house.
The hotel was a bustling spot in the village of Broome. After a hard day's
Yo, I
work,
thought I saw
the
somebody
men
move
and
over there.
boys would come to the hotel to relax over a pint. This hotel did have women working there. Through its history, a serving girl
Yo, look
has
at that
lived
house
on
up there. There's
site
lights
at the
flashing in
hotel.
it.
Whoa.
We have
Whoa.
to wonder if maybe
Wow.
it's the serving girl
see
we
that?
have
I guess we'll
seen
find
at
out
the
when we
top
get
of the
there.
stairs. Maybe
Maybe he's
she's
having an
reliving
orgasm.
an encounter with a hotel
And I saw
guest
somebody
who
move
was
in that
too
house.
forward, and she took matters into her own hands, pushing him down the stairs? We will never know. But when you do come back to the museum, make sure you are holding the handrail
Oh,
on
we're
your way
coming
up
back.
the stairs, in case you are the next to be pushed by this spirit.
Oh, fuck.
Please move ahead to the next stop around the corner to your right.
Did they give me a candy cane in this bag?
Okay.
Any rules about taking pictures in front of the house?
I don't know.
Why aren't they playing?
They will.
Welcome to our Collins house, the location of another sighting on our grounds. Joanne, one of our tour guides, was giving a tour to a group of school children. During the tour, children were only allowed to be on the main floor of the building. After leaving the building, the children asked if they could go upstairs. After Joanne explained to the school children that we do not bring children up to the second floor on this tour, the children pointed up to the window and said, "But why do they get to be upstairs?"
But there's no
Child
upstairs to that
mortality was
house.
much higher during the 1800s than it is now in Canada.
Go in the house.
Childhood mortality means
Bro, no,
dying
but look,
between
bro, there's no
one's
fucking
first and
upstairs.
fifth birthdays.
Oh,
During
I missed
epidemics
that
like
one over
scarlet
there.
fever and diphtheria, child mortality rose, meaning that many families lost the little ones that often brought so much joy and laughter
Bro.
to their homes.
Bro, the curtains are moving, dog.
This
Yeah, I know,
sighting
and
by
there's
the
a red
school
light in the house.
suggests multiple children remain in this home to this day. It is possible that a family who lived in this home lost more than one of their children, and the children are, in fact, siblings. In the early 1800s, Timothy Rogers, a Quaker who had settled in Pickering, headed out to Prince Edward County for a Quaker annual meeting.
Wake 'em on.
When he returned home, he found out that a typhus epidemic had gone through Pickering and had killed his daughter Mary. Within a few weeks, his 4 other daughters, 2 sons, 1 son-in-law, and 3 grandchildren had passed away due to typhus. Unfortunately for Timothy, the devastation that illness had on his family didn't end there. In 1847, another typhus epidemic hit Canada, killing 20,000 people between 1847 and 1848. Timothy would have lost many friends and neighbors, along with his own family members, in those 2 horrible years. Although we do not know what happened to the children who remain in the Collins house, an epidemic like typhus, scarlet fever, or diphtheria could be a reason why multiple children remain. What we do know about the children is that they are joyful. When one of the paranormal investigations took place in this building, one of the children was reportedly heard to call a staff member by name.
Wow.
While only the school
That's
group saw
creepy.
the children up on the second floor, museum staff have reported hearing the noise of children playing and giggling when they are in the Collins house. Perhaps these spirits remain to comfort those souls who were left alone, like Timothy Rogers, when his family passed on, leaving him behind. Please continue to the next stop ahead on your left at the Broome Temperance Hotel.
Literally 5 feet away.
Yeah, like, is this the house with the 2 floors? Because this has 2 fucking floors.
Probably, I don't know.
This is where the other people stop.
Yeah.
Yo, we said Randall not here one time.
Wouldn't that be breaking and entering, sort of?
No, because it's during the day or when they would allow us here. Hey, how can those people come here and do that for a month?
As I mentioned earlier, this inn would have housed many travelers while they were on journey from Markham to Whitby or Oshawa. With so many people passing in and out of this building, it is easy to
Why
understand
couldn't they
how a
talk about the
few of
church?
them could remain.
That's probably creepy.
So
This
you-
building
so they're
was
saying
more
that they went
recently
in the
used as
inn?
an administrative building. look up to the second floor. Often, staff have reported
I can't
closing
see.
up the building only to see a light shining from the second floor window as they walked away from the building.
I don't
On
see a
one
second
occasion,
floor.
Olivia,
You know, there
one
is.
of our
It's just
summer
hard to see. I'm
students,
sorry.
finished
Okay.
closing up the
This is where they
building
park.
at the end of her shift. As she was about to head back up to the top
That
of
house
the
looks
site
freaking
to
creepy on the
leave
right,
for the
though.
day,
Yeah,
she
I can't
noticed
wait
a
to get up
light
to that
shining
one.
from upstairs. Thinking she must have forgotten to turn it off,
Wow.
she unlocked the building and went to the room, only to find no light on. This occurred many times that summer. Other staff have reported coming up the stairs to find the spinning wheel in motion. On a separate occasion, during a film shoot, a security guard entered this building late at night. He stood in the private side of the Woodruff's residence,
You guys see
saw
that?
the welcoming
Yeah.
settee, and thought it would be a good spot to take his break.
Person,
Oh,
like, open the
He
window a little
immediately
bit.
sensed an energy that settled in the room. Only a few minutes into being alone, fists
Yeah.
began to bang on the table, and he
I
heard
don't know if you
something
guys watching this saw
telling
that
him,
there was a shadowy figure on the
"Get
balcony
out!
just now.
Get out! Get out!" That was enough for him. For the remainder of his shifts at the museum, he refused to enter this building, and he warned staff that they too should steer clear. It is possible that James and Elizabeth Woodruff, the owners of this inn, still haunt the building and are upset over the private side being open to the public. The light that kept turning on that summer is in the Woodruff's bedroom. The spinning wheel is also in the room where Elizabeth would have spent most of her nights with her son, Nelson. Then again, the light and spinning wheel may be attributed to the woman in the green dress who
Yo, look, the
sometimes
light's
stands at
flickering
the
on
top of the stairs.
Oh.
James is a different matter. The Canadian Sons of Temperance have records from 1851 that show that liquor flowed freely in this hotel prior to 1851.
Not free liquor, Doc.
James would have served whiskey, ale, and many different spirits of alcohol to weary travelers and working men. Surely, during those times, a fight or two would break out in the tap room, and James would need to step in to maintain the peace or throw an especially belligerent guest out on his ear. In 1851, James turned his hotel from a wet establishment to dry, ending the sale of liquor at this hotel for a year. It's possible that poor security guard who was taking his break was mistaken for one of James' previous quarrelsome guests. Perhaps it was James telling him to get out. Get out! Please drive slowly to the next stop at the White House, ahead to your right.
What? It's called the Red Man House. Yo, do you see that?
What?
Yeah, I see it.
Looking right out the window?
What? Somebody's looking at the window?
Whatever that is.
That's creepy. Okay, let's start speaking. Is that somebody or is that?
You are now arriving at our Redmond House Program Center, once home to Thomas Redmond, his wife Susan, and their 10 children. Our next story occurs the night of our A Spirit Walk Call to Rebellion show last year. The museum puts on a production annually which reenacts the events which led to the rebellion of 1837. One of our main actors, Rachel, was alone in Redmond House between show sets. During these shows, the entire village is cast in lamplight, with all modern lights blacked out with cloth. It seems to transport the village back in time, where all you can see at night is the stars and the dim lamplight. During dusk and in the quiet early evening, like right now, occurrences with spirits are most
Early
often
evening, it's almost
reported.
9 o'clock.
The show was well underway, and Rachel was alone in the
Did you see
ballroom
that?
downstairs. She was reading quietly when the lights began to flicker. She sensed that she was not alone. Looking around and seeing no one, Rachel
Well, that's
asked if
just them
anyone
doing that.
else
It's
was
not
there.
actually.
The lights began to flicker again. She asked if they would like some company and conversation, and once again the lights flickered. As part of her 1830s costume, Rachel had a pocket watch in her dress pocket. She took out the pocket watch to use it as a pendulum. Rachel wrote yes or no in her
Why is my
notebook
gas meter
and
going
began
up and
asking
down,
the
too?
spirit more
Good
yes or
question.
no questions.
Oh, was that,
When the pendulum
first it was at
swung front and
178,
back,
and now it's
it
up to
meant
181.
no. When it swung side to
Something's
side,
up.
it meant yes. Rachel learned that the spirit was the lady of the house, who had lived in this building long ago. Rachel thanked the woman for letting everyone use the house and asked if she liked having people there. The pendulum swung no. At that moment, one of our staff, Julia, entered the room, and Rachel's pendulum began to go wild.
Oh, it's over.
Rachel asked if the lady
That was
of the
quick.
house knew Julia. The pendulum swung yes. Rachel asked whether or not the spirit liked Julia. After holding their breaths, the pendulum swung yes again. Working at the museum, we are mindful that others have lived in these homes before us. Some of them built these homes. Their memories are here. We always aim to tread lightly and pay our respects to the spirits that still inhabit these places. Others have sensed that a woman remains in this building and have gotten goosebumps
What?
when touching the
Actually
original
saw a
doorknobs
shadow
on one of the
behind that
closets upstairs. Although the woman in the Redmond house has never been seen, staff still greet the spirit who remains with a respectful hello when entering the building. Please
I see it.
continue to
Yeah,
the
I see it
next
too.
stop
Where?
at the blue
In the
house
window.
ahead on your left.
Wow, that looks creepy. Look, the curtains are moving, guys.
Again?
Yeah.
Welcome to the Miller Cole house. The ghosts of children are often not here to haunt, but because children have a hard time passing over from our world to the afterlife, they become stuck in between our world and the afterlife and need help moving along. If a child remains, often once a parent passes, they too get stuck in order to stay with their children. It is believed that a man and a little girl inhabit this house. The little girl has been seen twirling around the house, showing off her brand new dress. The second spirit is of a man who can be seen wandering the hallway between the parlor and the bedroom. This home represents a rural family lifestyle. It was built in the 1840s by Luton Miller. Luton was married to Abigail Anderson, and together
What?
they
Oh, the
raised their
candle's
children
floating.
in this house.
No, there's somebody's hand there.
It is said that one night Luton Miller awoke to commotion. Thinking it was just his children, he was slow to get up and investigate. As he entered
God,
the
there's
dining
somebody's
room,
hand.
he noticed the dining room door
Stop
open.
ruining the atmosphere,
At
damn it.
first, he thought little of
Maybe
it,
it's a ghost hand, though.
figuring that he had forgotten to lock it and
No, you
maybe
already
the
ruined
wind
it.
had blown it open. That was until he realized that the house was now calm, and all that commotion he had previously heard had quieted. He made his way up to his children's bedrooms, only to find the bed of his youngest daughter empty. The other
I should have brought my
children told
EMF
him
meter.
that they heard a man they thought was him calling them downstairs. Luton believed that his daughter was kidnapped, and the commotion he heard was her abductor escaping the home, having entered through the unlocked dining room door. Although search parties were sent out, no one was able to find Mr. Miller's little girl. Some staff feel they are not welcome in this home. Last summer, when our summer students, Trevor and Monica, were locking up the site, they got to this building to lock it and found all the doors shut. When they tried to open one of the doors to start closing up inside, they were unable to open it. Each door had been locked from the inside. Could Luton Miller be trying to protect the rest of his children? Please drive slowly to the next stop ahead on your right at the Oddfellows Hall.
Going as slowly as I can.
Start yelling.
On January 29th, 1785, as one of the first established societies in the area, Broome Lodge number 155 of the Independent Order of Oddfellows was instituted by the local men in the village of Broome. This building on your right was built in 1869 on the North Road north of the 5th Concession Road in Whitevale. This building was first established as a Christian church. In 1893, 100 years after its establishment, Lodge number 155 began to use Oddfellows Hall regularly as their meeting place. The birth of the order is somewhat hazy, but appears to have originated in England in the 18th century. It was made up of men who plied odd trades, like farmers, that did not meet qualifications for master craftsmen's guilds. These men banded together to form the Oddfellows. The order was much like the Freemasons in its rituals and symbolism.
Really?
As with many fraternal orders and secret societies, rituals play an important role with the Oddfellows. Rituals are ingrained in every aspect of fellowship. From initiation to meetings, rituals offer a sense of security and comfort, act as an anchor in a changing world, and provide a link to the past. Wherever a member traveled, the rituals of the Oddfellows were the same. In the 1800s, spiritualism was on the rise. Books were published that taught people how to conduct their own parlor magic tricks, and seances became popular entertainment in people's homes. Fascination with the otherworldly and the occult was on the rise, and even Queen Victoria and Prince Albert participated in seances, which followed set rituals to initiate people into the spirit realm. Spiritualism in the 1800s took people through a series of steps so that the veil between the spirit world and this world would thin. The Oddfellows Order initiation ritual brings in many otherworldly elements that thin the veil between the spirit world and this world. In the period between 1810 and 1825, the Oddfellows initiation ritual was described in a way that is dramatic and somewhat frightening. Daniel Weinbrenn gives a description of one ritual that took place in the early 1800s. Let me take you back as a candidate to consider the frightening journey into initiation. The first degree initiation within the Oddfellows began with the blindfolding and binding of the candidate, the baring of his breast, and his passage into the lodge between two guardians who made challenges. He heard the rattling of chains and was sometimes thrown into brushwood or had his head immersed in water. When the blindfold was removed, there was a sword pointed at his heart. The man holding the weapon asked the members assembled, who were robed and masked, if he should be merciful. Once they had decided to be merciful, the candidate was sworn in, unbound, and shown a figure of death and other symbols. Could you go through the ritual of the Oddfellows?
Yeah.
This ritual, that provides a link to the past, anchored to the present, is similar to the feeling guests and staff have gotten when they've had an experience with the supernatural. The goosebumps that run down your arms and up your neck. It's like the feeling of something heavy on your chest, or seeing a light flicker out of your view. These are the experiences and reports that have shaped the stories that we have told you tonight.
Okay. Do we want it? I think so.
Thank you for joining us on this Haunted Ghost drive-through tour. Check out our website for other programs and activities we offer at the museum. If you enjoyed your experience, please leave a review on TripAdvisor. Please drop your audio guide in the bucket as you pass through the exit on your way out. Thanks! We wish you and your family a safe drive home and hope to see you back at the museum soon.
It was good.
Pretty neat, yeah.
Yeah. Nah, it's okay.
All right now, thanks, sorry.
Have a good night.
Night.
Donate towards a milking cow.
A milking cow, yeah.
All right, so
what did we think, guys?
I was okay.
Okay, like for what it wasn't boring.
No, I think
Which way
you go
did we
left.
go?
You go left.
Left, okay. I don't remember this bridge. Oh, maybe, okay.
You should. We were just on it.
Okay. Anyways, yeah, it was okay. What do you guys think? A little bit cheesy, but it was good.
It's all right. It was actually longer than I was expecting, which you know wasn't really a bad thing, but
yeah.
I was like kind of tripped. I was kind of tripped out when we saw the shadow and like the candle was moving.
Yeah, I don't know if I got a good enough view of that.
My eyes caught it. But like to the trained
I saw
eye,
the candle moving, yeah.
To the trained eye, you're gonna assume that it's actors. However, as soon as we started to walk away, drive away from the last exhibit, the odd ones or whatever.
Yeah.
I noticed a light in the window started to light up, like a candle or something, like the ritual thing. Yeah. So that was pretty intriguing because there was no candle light there prior to. So that was really good.
So, guys, out of 10, what would you say? I'd give it like a 7 because it wasn't bad.
I'd give it a 6. Yeah.
It wasn't bad, but it wasn't like it was
great. Yeah.
It was good though. It was better than the pumpkin thing I did last night. That's for sure.
I think it's a 9.5.
This guy always gives high ratings.
We need to come back here.
Do like
when
the
this
actual
place
walking
is actually
tour?
Open. We need to investigate it.
Do the actual walking tour, maybe?
If there's a walking, because I think then there's a lot more live actors, like you saw. There might be more.
Let's hope. Well, guys, there you have it. There's the first Halloween theme-related thing we'll probably do this year. Hopefully, oh man, that's creepy. Hopefully not the last.
Wow.
Hopefully not the last Halloween-related thing I do this year. But we'll see, because
creepy.
Screamers ain't open, it looks like. Haunt's not open.
Yeah.
Oh, with any luck, we'll go to that scare maze up in East Gwillimbury, but
Yeah.
we'll see. Our horror hallways. But for now, I think that'll wrap things up. Thanks for watching, guys, and see you again soon.
Whoop, whoop.
Peace out.